Hey everybody, this lesson is more of the same of what we just did. I figured we got to spend a couple of days on this to get the hang of factoring and canceling and all that stuff. So we're just doing more of the same we did the last one. This one should go much faster. So let's simplify and state the excluded values. So here we go, 4x cubed over 22x to the 6th. Okay, the excluded values are when the denominator equals 0. Okay, so 22 times what number to the 6th equals 0? Well, x would have to be 0 on that. So that's the excluded values. And then over here, when I want to cancel, you guys, these 3x's will take out 3 of these 6, so there'll be 3 left on the bottom. Okay, and then 2 goes into 4 twice and into 22 11 times. So canceling all of that right there, we should get 2 over 11x to the 6. So this is the simplified version. Don't forget your second part of your answer. X equals 0 is an excluded value. Okay, here's number 2. Okay, let's go ahead and factor. I can pull a 2x out on top, and on bottom I can pull a 3 out on bottom. So when I do that, you guys, we're left with 2x, x plus 4 over 3x plus 4. Okay, the excluded value is when x plus 4 equals 0, so x equals negative 4 is your excluded value. And then when you cancel the x plus 4s, we have 2x over 3. Okay, that's the other answer right there. Okay. All right, let's do this one. This one I think is the hardest one of the bunch, you guys. So I did this all in one slide here, and I'll go through it all right here. So first, let's pull a 4 out on top and a 2 out on bottom. So when we do that, we have these guys. So I'm going to smiley face factor this one and smiley face factor this one, so I can factor those by grouping. If you're good at guessing and checking on factoring, please continue doing that, you guys. I'm not. I run into jams. In fact, I did on this lesson. It took me a while to unjam it, and I had to go back to my smiley face factoring. Okay, and then the 4 and 2 are going to cancel. This 2 goes into 2 once, into 4 twice right here. I did this in one color and this in another color. Let's see, right here. Yeah, here we go. So I did the top in red, so here it is over here. So 2 times 2 is 4. Factors of 4 that add to negative 5 are negative 1 times negative 4. So I rewrote this guy, replacing this negative 5xy with negative 4xy minus 1xy. There's my minus 5xy right there. Then I grouped these two together. That's right here. And then when we group these two guys together, we pull a negative out. So when we pull a negative out, it always changes this sign right here. Okay, so this became a minus. All right, and then out of these two guys, I can pull a 2x out, and I'm left with x plus 2y. Out of these two guys, remember we pulled the negative out, and these guys both have a y, so we can pull a y out, and we'd be left with x minus 2y. So here's the top one factored right here. Did the same over here. I factored that. So here's the bottom, the denominator. So I'm going to put this in the denominator. I'm going to put this in the numerator up next to that 2 right there. Okay, so there it is right there. And then looks like the 2x minus y's will cancel each other out. And then there's the simplified version right here. Okay, when you have different variables, don't worry about the excluded values on this one. I did want to show you one with different variables on that. Okay, these ones are easier. All right, so factors of negative 12 that add to 1 are 4 and negative 3. Factors of negative 6 that add to this negative 1 are negative 3 and positive 2. Okay, so there it is right there. So we can cancel out the x minus 3's. Don't forget about your excluded values. Okay. All right, okay, here, factors of 2 that add to 3 are 2 and 1. Factors of 10 that add to 7 are 2 and 5. Okay, so there it is right there. Looks like the x plus 2's are going to cancel. Don't forget about your excluded values. Okay, I'm going fast. Okay, on top on this one, whenever it starts off with a negative n squared or negative x squared or something, pull a negative out of all of these. And then here I'm going to pull a 3n out of all of these. Okay, watch what happens. We get that right there, and then this trinomial is the same as that trinomial right there. So those guys cancel. Okay, so there's the simplified version right there, except it said, don't forget about, it said state the excluded values. So what I have to do is for the excluded values is set the denominator equal to 0, okay? All right, factors of negative 28 that add to 3 are positive 4 times positive 7 times a negative 4 right there, okay? So the excluded values are when all those factors equal to 0, the 3n equals 0, the n plus 7 equals 0, or the n minus 4 equals 0. Okay, so our excluded values are these guys right there. So it's a two-answer thing, just like in the last lesson. There's one answer, the excluded values, and there's the simplified version right there. All right, if you are in my class, I would assign that for your homework. Take care.